and watch these non-ball knowers talk about Lamar Jackson, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna watch this. I've been trying to watch this. I wanted to react to see what dumb shit people were saying. Something to do.
Lamar Jackson is Mr. October, and in baseball and in football, that's not a great thing. You got to be Mr. January, and he has never been that.
Right.
You want to talk about highlights? You know what I think about? When Lamar threw it into triple coverage, likely, thinking that he was going to get a flag from the refs.
I know that play. That play.
That's what he was counting on. The referees to go his way. Unacceptable. Do you know that Dak Prescott has a better passer rating?
Gang talking about Dak Prescott, gang. We could pull up the fucking list on Dak Prescott, bro. Do not put Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson in the same conversation, brother. Like, Dak Prescott throws piss missiles to the defense, gang. He throws heaters to the defense, gang. You talking about a guy that throws to the other team more than his own team, for real.
So, who made the mistake in the second half of the game? Lamar fumbled the ball in the second half of the game. Lamar Jackson dropped a pass that hit him in the chest in the second half of the game.
Fair, okay. So let's put on Mark Andrews, not the guy who gets the ball.
No, you can't put this in there. They share the same amount of blame, bro. It's a team game. You're not winning the game without a team, bro. They share the same amount of blame, brother. If not, Lamar shares more, bro. Because Lamar put that bitch on the ground, personally. Put that bitch on the ground. And he threw a pick. He threw a crazy pick too. Like, he threw like a timing pick. Like, he was just like, yeah, Bates is gonna be here, type of pick. Like, he didn't even look.
So how can Lamar Jackson be the best player in the NFL when he's got two quarterbacks in just the AFC that don't even respect him? His peers don't respect him because if
what the fuck is she talking? What?
If you caught the hot mic, it was the 11th of November. You had Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes post-game talking about how they were going to see each other in the AFC Championship game. I'm sorry, but doesn't Lamar Jackson also play in the AFC?
He does.
Those two, they got their thing going on, bro. They want to beat each other, right? They want to beat each other. That don't have anything to say about them not respecting Lamar Jackson. Let's be for real. That's the thing they got. That's the rival they got between each other. That's not. They don't got shit to do with Lamar Jackson, for real. Not gonna lie to you. They don't got shit to. That just has them believing in themselves, and they believe that the other person could get there. That I don't think that says Lamar Jackson can't do shit or Lamar Jackson is a non-factor.
So among peers,
so they don't respect him.
They were counting on playing each other in the AFC Championship game. When your Lamar Jackson's Ravens, were expected to make the playoffs as well. They were totally discounting him. So he doesn't have any respect among his peers.
What are they supposed to say? Yeah, I can't wait to watch Lamar Jackson play Patrick Mahomes. I can't wait for Lamar Jackson to play Josh Allen. Like, what are we talking about? That horrible argument. That's just a horrible argument.
Lamar Jackson
he had all of these weapons. Patrick Mahomes didn't have all these weapons. He had Zay Flowers. Hold on, let me finish. Yeah, Zay Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
He had Likely.
Yeah.
He had Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
He had King Henry.
Mm-hmm.
He had Justin Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Who can you compare that to Patrick Mahomes right now?
All right, let's be for real. Let's if we gonna break down roster and why Patrick is better, let's be for real. Okay. Mark is coming back off a goddamn broken ankle or some shit. All right, he wasn't really getting touches like that. He turned on in the middle of the season. Likely, I'm not gonna say great, good piece. He's not like he's not getting 100 receptions. He's not a guy you looking for. Like, he's a great piece. He's not this all-time, all-world player. You know, come on, bro. Like, he's a piece. Zay Flowers, great wide receiver. Justice Hill, come on. Do not try and do this Justice Hill shit. Like, Justice Hill is this crazy back. Like, bro, it's a team. Every piece is doing. They're pieces in the machine, bro. These guys, like, they're great pieces. They're not like these crazy weapons niggas is trying to make them sound like. Lamar Jackson, it was Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. If you want to count Mark Andrews this season. Mark Andrews had a decent season. He turned on in the middle of the season. Likely, Justice Hill, Bate, those guys, great pieces. Like, the team starts to fully, like, come together. You need pieces like that. Everybody on that team is not a superstar. Everybody's on the team not a weapon that people are game planning for. Let's be for real.
So you're mentioning all these things, right? Lamar had the better weapons. Mahomes didn't.
Yeah.
And in the season, regular season, who outplayed the other player?
Well, if you want to be honest, you say Patrick Mahomes outplayed him. Because if it was that true, he'd be in the number 1 seed. Was the Ravens the number 1 seed? No. Were they the number 1?
What the fuck is he talking about? Did you not watch the season? Did he not watch the season? Did he not watch any of the games? Gang said he would have if he outplayed Patrick, he would have been a number 1 seed. Gang. Aiden O'Connell outplayed Patrick Mahomes this season. What? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
1 seed?
Ravens had the worst.
My boy, Bryce Young outplayed Patrick Mahomes this year. Think about that. In the games he went head to head with Bryce Young.
Defense in the NFL.
Let me just make sure I'm not talking out my ass. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Let's look at the stats. Look at the stats. Okay. They had about the same yards. He didn't throw 3 picks. He didn't throw 3 touchdowns. He had 6 more yards than them, 3 touchdowns. Like, what are we talking about? This is the score. And this is the team, this is the guy that people are trying to crown. They're trying to say it's better than Lamar Jackson. This is what you're trying to say. I got you. I feel you. Who else did I say? Aiden O'Connell. What is that? Where's that Raiders game? That fucking Black Friday Raiders game. Raiders, baby. The Black Friday game. Gang. This is Aiden O'Connell's stats in that Black Friday game, gang. Patrick Mahomes threw 10 more times than him. 11 more times than him. And, like, come on, bro. Like, Patrick didn't have a good season, gang. Patrick did not have a good season. It was not a good season. He got bailed out by Aiden O'Connell fumbling a fucking snap.
Fell for 9 weeks.
Oh, so you're making excuses
Oh.
for your best player in the NFL.
Is that an excuse or a fact?
Yeah, that's a fact. But
it
at
is
the same time, where's Lamar right now?
When the Ravens didn't have the 32nd worst defense in the NFL, they won every single game.
Has he showed up in big games so far?
Define a big game.
Okay. When they were down early in the season, when they was down 1-2, bro. When they lost them 2 games, they lost Kansas City, they lost to Oakland. I think they was down 0-2 or 1-2 or something like that. He rolled off a stretch of games where he was busting ass. Cowboys. He rolled off a stretch where he was busting ass, bro. Full schedule from last year. Regular season, they lost in Arrowhead. They lost Vegas. Next week, this is a blowout. Do not let this score. If you watch this game, they was busting their ass, bro. Truly. Bust their ass, bro. Truly. This is a shootout. Busting their ass. These scores don't matter. The scores matter, but these are not indicative of how the game went. Bust their ass. This was a blowout. 100%. They lose this game, don't know how. Blowout. This is another close game. Thursday night. They lose this game. Lamar throws a bad. No, that wasn't even. He didn't even throw a bad pick. Niggas was dropping the ball. This is Zay Flowers dropped the ball. Bateman dropped the ball in the middle of the fucking stadium. Justice Hill got intercepted by a third string middle linebacker. Bust their ass Monday night. This game, relatively, they lost. They lost this game. 1,000%. I can't even cop a plea on that shit. They lost this game. Bust their ass. Come back. Bust their ass. This game on Christmas, bust their ass. Cleveland Browns, bust their ass. Like, gang, like, he had some good performances, brother. He had some great performances. To say hypothetically that since they didn't get the first seed, he's worse.
The AFC Championship games that he played in 2019 and 2023. Okay. Did he show up?
He didn't play in 2019, but in
yes, he did. 2020? Yes, he did.
In the AFC Championship?
Yes, he did. When he was an MVP?
It was divisional round. But in that game...
But who did he lose to in both of those games?
Well,
Patrick Mahomes.
No. He lost to the Titans in 2019. He had 550 total yards.
This nigga truly doesn't know ball. He's talking. He's just talking. He's just talking. He's just talking. He doesn't know ball. He says, oh. Run that back. Run that back. He's confident in the shit he's talking.
You're making excuses for your best player in the NFL.
Go ahead.
Is that an excuse or a fact?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So
but at the same time, where's Lamar right now?
When the Ravens didn't have the 32nd worst defense in the NFL, they won every single game.
Has he showed up in big games so far?
Define a big game.
The AFC Championship games that he played in 2019 and 2023. Okay. Did he show up?
He didn't play in 2019, but in
yes, he did. 2020? Yes, he did.
In the AFC Championship?
Yes, he did. When he was an MVP?
Like he said 2020? Yes, he did. 2020? Yes, he did. He was confident. He was confident in that shit. 2020? Yes, he did.
Didn't have the 32nd worst.
He was confident in talking that.
Has he showed up in big games so far?
He said he went to 2 AFC
Championship games that he played in 2019 and 2023. Okay. Did he show up?
He didn't play in 2019, but in
yes, he did. 2020? Yes, he did.
In the AFC Championship?
Yes, he did. When he was an MVP?
It was divisional round. But in that game...
But who did he lose to in both of those games? Patrick Mahomes.
No. He lost to the Titans.
They paid him. They had to pay him because he's just talking. They had to just pay him. He's just talking.
And then just,
like leading the NFL in touchdown passes or...
Yeah, we could scratch our head, but as we scratch my head, I look at here, Patrick has 3 to your 0. Have a good day, y'all.
What?
Lamar
I mean,
Jackson
hold on.
Brady, Brett Favre, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Which one of those guys had to bring on the greatest running back of all time to their team to try and make it to the Super Bowl, and they still didn't make it to the Super Bowl? That was Lamar Jackson this year. They had to bring on Derrick Henry, basically the greatest running back of all time, and they could not even make it to the conference championship.
What the fuck type of argument is that, bro? He's saying they didn't have... That's like saying they didn't get stars, What the fuck? My greatness. What are we doing?
You're saying to me, if Tom Brady added on a Derrick Henry...
Tom had Gronk.
He would have gone undefeated yet again.
So, I'm confused. A top 10 player of all time can't have a top teammate?
I'm saying when you're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks of all time, you don't remember the running backs. Who was the running back on the Broncos when the Broncos won the Super Bowl?
So does Marvin Harrison with Peyton Manning count?
I mean, you could say that about Mark Andrews. You could say that about... I'm not talking about...
No way, he just tried to say Mark Andrews. What?
They brought on Derrick Henry to try and win a Super Bowl. They couldn't even make the conference championship with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. You have Derrick Henry on your team, man.
So you're saying it's more valuable to have a star running back as a quarterback than a star like wide receiver or tight end?
I mean, regardless, there's still star tight ends on the Ravens. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers didn't play in the playoffs.
Okay, but he played during the regular season.
And they were awesome. They had the best DVOA offense of all time.
That he will never get there is because he has all of the things you can't teach. He has talent. He has that it factor, that X factor that you really can't teach. But I just feel like he's not taking care of the stuff you can teach, like learning the book, checking out all your reads before you decide that you're going to run for it. And I think it matters way more to him to prove that you can be a top 10 quarterback of his style than it is to concede a little bit, learn some reads, learn some plays, in order to take that team to the...
They just grab these people off the street and say, hey, just talk, just say dumb shit about Lamar Jackson.
Second read. So I just don't find any of that to be very true.
Do you think that he could stand to be a little bit more cerebral when it comes to running the huddle and being a leader of the team in the huddle?
She's talking about intangible.
Like,
we don't know. We don't know about that part of the game. What are you talking about?
I don't think he's just like a go out and do it guy, personally.
There's no way she thinks you just can go play quarterback without doing the necessary steps, bro.
From the Kelly Blue Book.
Well, to quote the young Dakota Fanning.
What is she talking? She's talking about Dakota Fanning.
Late great
right, skip.
feel like
Lamar Jackson deserves the 2020
He the third one. I mean, if he played to get it.
Sure. For this one moment. Can we give it to a running back this year? Can we have a running back be MVP? If it's not Saquon, why not his own teammate, Derrick Henry?
What's your definition of an MVP?
Most valuable player.
I'm done talking with bro. I'm done with that.
Again?
I ain't like this nigga. That nigga's a yapper.
Which is jersey number
Back.
So Lamar Jackson said, right, starting 2018, they decide Lamar is their future. And so if we look in their recent past, they draft Zay Flowers early to get him more help and support. They got smoked by the Titans in that iconic 28-12 playoff loss years ago. Derrick Henry popped off. So what do? You can't beat them? Join them. They bring Derrick Henry over to the Ravens to supplement Lamar Jackson.
He's skipping so much.
Attack.
Okay.
So you have, not
He's
elite wide receivers,
so
but
many
you have a
steps
strong
in
wide
this.
receiver, strong tight ends, strong running back.
Right.
The offense is there for Lamar Jackson to succeed. But as I showed earlier, in the regular season, he could not get that number 2 seed. I strongly believe if he had done better in the regular season, Ravens would have been hosting
I don't know, bro.
Much better chance they win that playoff game. So I know we like to isolate playoffs, regular season. Like, why do we talk about them separately? In this case, if he does a little bit better in the regular season, he makes even just one comeback drive, Ravens get, he had the Bengals drive, so I don't want to give you some, but, one of those 5 losses, he has a comeback drive, Ravens get the 2 seed, they likely move on. The Ravens are trying to put pieces around Lamar. Lamar's not able to take advantage. Lamar had the chance to win at the end of the game, right? It's not that the defense is playing so atrociously that they're down 20 points going into the fourth quarter. In pretty much every game this season,
I don't think he watched
even the ones
any of
they
these
lost,
games.
One score, and then the ones they won.
I don't think
sometimes
he
they
watched
don't.
any of these games, bro.
Like, Lamar is put in a position to succeed. It's not that the Ravens are holding him back. Then sure, you can go and pass. It's just happened too many times. And even in that case, still leaves a minute and a half left on the clock. Josh Allen, who's more clutch, is going to drive
But what's
down
that have to do?
Josh Allen, who's more clutch. Josh Allen, who started off the AFC Championship damn near throwing 2 picks, is more clutch, huh? That's who's more clutch. Cut it the fuck out, bro. Who's more clutch?
Lamar Jackson will win.
You can't go into the future expecting a different outcome when the past has already shown you, how many times he's had the opportunity to go further and couldn't, And you said, you gave an example, right? Like this last playoff game was probably the best playoff game he's ever played, especially from a passer rating. Yeah. His last 2, every single one before that,
he's on kind of a upward slope.
Right, his last 2 were his best 2 playoff games. They lost.
Houston in the division round last year, but sure.
Right.
But
lost, right? Like this last game he lost, the playoff game.
Yes, they
right.
lost.
So even at his best playoff game he's possibly ever played in his career, they still lost. So I'm saying, like, no matter what.
That's the best playoff game. Number one, it's not the best playoff game of his career, but let's use the Bills-Ravens game. Let's say it's one up.
Right.
He hasn't gotten there yet, but he's shown improvement, even within that game as a microcosm, right? 2 turnovers in the first half. Absolutely brutal.
Right.
0 turnovers, 0 punts in the second half, scored on every drive, including a 90-yard touchdown drive. So, like, as he continues this upward trajectory, it gives me confidence that it will happen.
But even with that best game, it didn't. So if you can expect him to keep playing better and better, him as a single player, but the team, you're not getting there.
So I have a question for you.
Right.
Did you ever think Matt Stafford would win a Super Bowl? Because he was coined as the biggest loser in the NFL.
At what point? What do you mean?
His whole
entire
career.
With the Lions, everyone's like, oh, he's a loser. Go back in time. Peyton Manning hadn't won a Super Bowl at this point in his NFL career. Did you ever think he would win a Super Bowl? Does it look a little silly now, looking back and being like, well, Peyton Manning, I was the one saying Peyton Manning wouldn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, and I mean, for every single player ever to win a Super Bowl, hindsight's 2020, to be like, oh, I can look back and say, yes, they eventually won.
All right, so then the question at hand
So if Lamar switches a team, then he can go win to the Super Bowl. But no, I don't think that either.
Peyton won at the same team, but the question at hand is, do you think he'll win one in the next 3 years?
I don't think he's, if you look at even career-wise, Lamar Jackson's not top 10 in anything but rushing yards, and it's
What did he? Hold on, Jack. What did he say? He said he's not top 10 in anything but rushing yards. Hold on, let me. That nigga, that has to be a genjutsu. That has to be a genjutsu. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? He said.
So if Lamar switches a team, then he can go win to the Super Bowl. But no, I don't think that either.
Peyton won at the same team. But the question at hand is, do you think he'll win one in the next 3 years?
I don't think he's. If you look at even career-wise, Lamar Jackson's not top 10 in anything but rushing yards, and it's because he has the most attempts, right? What you say, shoot 100 shots to make 30 points. He has the most attempts. Doesn't even have the highest rushing average per carry out of quarterbacks. That's still on Michael Vick. He's behind by a whole yard still. So I say Baker Mayfield has more passing yards and touchdowns than him in his entire career, and they were drafted the same year. Baker Mayfield. So if you put Baker Mayfield on the Ravens, do they win?
They'd be 9-8.
Do you believe that?
There's no way you believe they'd be 9-8.
No. Like genuinely, do you believe that, or is it for the show?
Oh yeah. Do I think if Baker Mayfield was on the Ravens, would they win the Super Bowl? The way he played this year? Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Respect the time. Okay. Time to go.
Get him out the seat, bro.
So the prompt is: will Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl within?
Get him out of the seat. That motherfucker's talking. He has a sweater on.
I feel pretty confident that.
And a collar shirt. Yeah, he's not talking ball. He there to out of 10. 3 out of 10 would not recommend, bro. Do not watch this shit, bro. This shit was horrible, brother. If they make another one of these, I'll probably check it out. But this, they got a LeBron one. Oh, I may have to watch this one. They got a LeBron one, gang. Hold